halfway through the ERL INDYCAR series schedule, and we are finally here at the night race in Indianapolis. As you can see, drivers now beginning to roll across the start-finish line. The man will start this race from the front of the pack. It will be Elliot Deli in the number 38. Ahead of him, behind him rather, will be ERL and then Francis Austin. Then Lil Buns will start fourth from Milsov Micah and Lewis Olsen. Then Carson Thornburg in seventh, Linus Eriksson in eighth, and you are watching the championship leader Kwon Todoroki, first Japanese driver to lead any ERL championship since I think Ichinose did it in the 2017 Formula 1 championship. Maybe K-Hari did it for a time in the F1 series as well, or maybe in season 12, season 13 of the ERL Formula E series. Maybe Yuki Suo did it, but to my memory, Ichinose, while driving for Sauber, was the first man from Japan to do that. Niven Colby, who's been dominating this championship for a while, he's in 10th from Ghosted and Mikian Girovic. And I'm going to make a quick apology to Mikian. I was not familiar with her game. I did not know she was a woman. I will correct that now for the rest of this race. Then Kui is in 13th from David Camno in the 88, who you've just seen go by turn number 10. Then Tommy, Salos Kynes, Hexel, Mark, Max Bortkar, Enoch Yu, Safsan, teammate Sebastian Messian, and at the back of the pack, new driver Davi Sequeira. That's another name that I'm going to have to get right. The Brazilian driver taking over TJ Davis's ride, and he swaps the number 2 to number 19. Francis Austin, currently in 23rd. He's going to start this race in 23rd. He hasn't actually had the best of seasons. Neither McLaren driver really has. I feel like Linus has been dragging that McLaren to high finishes through his own strength. You saw last time out at the recently remodeled Watkins Glen circuit how good he was. Pace car will be peeling into the pits quite soon as they now run the final turn here in Indianapolis. Elliot Deli will lead us away for Chip Ganassi in the 38. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys. Heading down into turn number 1. ERL didn't actually get the start that he needed. He's quite a ways off the back of Elliot. Heading through the first few chicanes, you can see Kui coming under threat from David Camino. Tommy also threatening him. Ghosted up into 10th position, getting past Niven Colby, who's had an absolutely terrible start. He's dropped down to 12th. Saf San further back, he's up into 19th position as both Prema drivers trying to make their way through the field. The top guys, they've all made it through the opening few turns cleanly. In fact, unlike in Formula E, everyone's made it through quite cleanly around here. Davi Carrera up into 21st position. Pretty good move for a rookie. As you can see, the Indian driver in Saf San still in 20th, and he's going to have to be wary about Davi right behind him. If it was his teammate, he wouldn't have to worry so much. But Carrera has gone past as ERL, the fastest second sector of anyone. Davi Carrera, while he's flying at the back of the pack. Of course, he's got that massive draft, especially through this part of the track where you need it. Kwon Todoroki, he's not in the fight for 6th. In terms of his championship challenge, well, it's certainly a very close and compact title fight. Of course, with only 14 races compared to the big Formula E series is 23. As you can see, heading through the chicane, Thornburg alongside Lewis Olsen into turn number 4. You've got a 4-way fight for 6th. Oh my goodness. Heading through, Olsen going off the track. We go on board with the hyperdrive number 95. And a full course yellow. Lil Buns is out of this race. He's off in the wall. The tire's gone over the catch fencing. For Lil Buns, that one was certainly unexpected for the Ukrainian driver, for Newman Haas. But that does mean that now Newman, they don't have anyone to compare with. They can only you can only really tell how good David Carrera is going to be in terms of actual track position. And of course, qualifying didn't go too well for him. We've gone back underway with the full course cautions ending. On board with David Carrera in that white and red Newman Haas car. Looks for a way to try and get past. He's looking. I don't know if he's quite got the space, and look at that late lunge. He's gone past the Hong Kong driver. It's up into 17th. That is a move that I didn't expect to see happen, because they were just so close together in a part of the track where usually you wouldn't see stuff like that happen. Puff setting a fastest third sector of anyone. Soft tyres now at 67%. Kwon Todoroki with his fastest third sector of anybody. 25.566 for the Japanese driver, who's now up into 6th position. Everyone stringing out into a single file line. Kwon's going to try and break that trend. Doesn't quite manage to do it. Olsen went off the track again. How hard is it for a Norwegian driver to keep all 4 wheels on the track? Well, oh, out of the race! That's ghosted! Ghosted out! Oh my goodness, that's a front wing off of the racing line, thankfully. Tyre was bouncing. Wow. Full course caution again. On lap 4 of 12. My goodness me, I didn't expect that in the slightest. You probably heard that through the surprise, but honestly, they try to go 3 wide from what I could gather from watching that. So we now get back underway. Puff still in second. He's using push to pass to try and close in on Elliott Deli, but he's now outside of push to pass range if he's going to use it on this following lap. He comes across the line. I believe he's 6/10 off. Yeah, he gets to use it again. So he's just trying to reel the Chip Ganassi driver in on lap 5 of 12. In this, the halfway point of the ERL and INDYCAR Series calendar. And it's Elliott Deli who currently leads the way from Puff, who's still yet to score any wins, rather. For the Scotsman, his start of the season in qualifying was absolutely amazing. He's just not been able to string it together to get a race win. If the number 9 can win, that would absolutely help Dragon Penske in their hunt for the Constructors title, because I don't know whether or not Ewan's going to be able to take the Drivers' Championship. But look at the state of those softs. 47%. That does not look too good. Francis Austin behind on mediums. Will we see that type of switch over between the mediums and softs where tyre performance improves vastly on one of them? Well, I think we might see it for Francis. He's been waiting all this while. He takes second position ahead of Puff. They're still alongside each other. He's been forced to the outside. They'll both get pushed to pass on Elliott Deli. One of them won't get pushed to pass if they continue with this gap of over a second. Or maybe they both will, considering that they are both within a tenth of a second of each other, side by side, and they've both got pushed to pass. Here comes Puff, but look at the state of those softs. Tommy, the only man to start this race on the hard compound tyres, he's probably going to be the only one who's happy out there. Kwon comes in, down the inside goes Puff. He's not quite able to take the race lead. Carlos Kynes and David Carrera both into the pits, as well as here comes Austin around the outside. Is there contact? Into the wall, and out of the race goes Puff. Full course yellow. It's another instance where he had a pretty good car today. He started up front, but once again, it's not his fault. Puff, I think he's just the unluckiest driver in the ERL currently. The Kiro drivers, they might have something to say about that, but at least both of them have gotten wins. More than that, wins in their debut seasons. For Puff, he's still in his debut season. He hasn't won a single race win yet. After this, I will be recording the Formula Pro Series race. As you can see, Elliott Deli defending from Francis Austin But is that defense enough? It will not be. Francis Austin fighting with his compatriot. Both American drivers going side by side. McLaren versus Chip Ganassi. And it's going to be the McLaren driver in the numbers 23 who currently leads. Francis Austin ahead of Elliott Daly, who dives into pit lane in car number 38. Nossos Micah also into the pits. He's on the mediums. 5 laps to go. I believe if you're pitting this late, you should probably go onto softs. Some drivers are going onto the hards. Okay, that's an interesting strategy to say the least. Daly is coming out on another set of soft tires. You can do that, of course. We only mandate a pit stop. We don't mandate if you should go to a second set of tires. Davi Carrera setting a faster second sector. And Mickey on. Oh, she's doing an alright job with those hards. I think she's just come in for them, yeah. So she's dropped down to 15th position behind Linus Eriksson. Now, she'll comfortably make it to the end of this race. There's no question about it. But the question is whether or not Nat Gamble will actually help her in the race, because you can see Francis Austin, his hard tires not really, his mediums rather, not really hampering him. Kwon Todoroki alongside Sebastian Messian, following the man who started this race on the hards in Tommy in the number 45. Mark Q quite a few seconds up the road. Here comes Kwon, looks for the move. Can he go down the inside? He has to think better of it. He doesn't want to crash out of this race. Of course, he came into this one as a championship leader, but at the same time, in situations like this, you do have to take some risks. You can't just finish 8th every race and expect to become champion. You do have to go for race wins. In comes Anok Q. Here comes Kwon Todoroki. Okui now leads ahead of, I believe it will be Kwon in second. It is Kwon Todoroki in second position. And Kui, the man who leads this race, he's yet to make his first stop. Kwon Todoroki has the race lead. The question is whether or not he'll make it to the end of this race. We saw last time out in the ERL Formula E series how poorly the Michelin tires did come race's end, and Elliott Daly is in third now. Honestly, the guys at Andretti have been giving this man some absolutely magnificent strategies. If I can just check where he started, as Linus Eriksson sets a faster sector. Kwon started this race in 9th. Somehow, the Andretti guys were able to put him up into second position currently, and once Kui pits, that will be the race lead. And just another note on strategy, Davi Carrera, he's looking to be on the podium in his first ERL series race. Here he comes on Okui, Kwon Todoroki of Japan, into the race lead here in Indianapolis, as Elliott Daly also up into second position. This is truly some magnificent work on the part of the strategy guys, and it's going to be push to pass usable for Elliott Daly with only a few laps left to run as Kui pits. I expect Tommy to come in soon. Here comes Elliott Daly down the inside. Kui's gone on to soft, so he'll be the fastest driver on track. Hex will mark with the fastest lap, and they are still side by side. Into turn number 4 they go. Close to the wall, keeps it out of the barriers. They're not going to stay side by side, surely. Eriksson getting a track limits warning further behind. Most of the field is on hard compound tyres, but you're watching the race leaders who are on softs, keeping it out of the barriers for Elliott Daly. Into turn number 10 they come. Can Daly go down the inside? Do you want to know what? He looks for a move, and he makes the move stick. Elliott Daly takes the lead in Indianapolis ahead of Kwon Todoroki and Davi Carrera. Wow. That's brilliant stuff we've seen across the field. And you know what? Considering the state of these soft tires, the Newman Haas driver from Brazil in the number 19, he might be able to close in here. Kwon Todoroki, he's going to have to muster up something to fight back with. He's going to get 2 helpings of push to pass unless he wants to pit at the end of this lap. But the team simulations did say that the one stop should be possible for all of these drivers right now. as they now come across the start-finish line. 2 laps to go. Here comes Kwon, using push to pass. It's not close enough to make the move down into turn number 1. He's going to have to stay close to the back of Elliott to make sure that he can actually get past this. Tommy pits. Kwon leads. Kwon Todoroki takes the race lead here in Indianapolis, and he went around the outside of Elliott Deli. That's how you know that you now have someone special on your hands. That's close to the wall for Elliott. Maybe that's just his strategy. He just goes close to the wall and gets more momentum, and he won't be able to make a move because Hexel Mark is out of this race. Oh my goodness, that's Max Sportcar spinning. Hexel's tire was stricken on the track, but thankfully no one hit that. Max Sportcar, on the other hand, he hit the Revolution Racing driver. And Revolution Racing, we rarely actually talk about them, and that might just be because it's not really much to talk about down at Revolution. And Enoch-U's got a front puncture. Puncture for Enoch-U. Power Motorsports number 25 has run into tire problems. Oh, not this. Surely we're not going to see more of this. We saw this in the ERL race in Lagos. Surely we're not going to see something on a very similar circuit. Kwon defending from Elliott. They head on to the penultimate lap. Davi Circulera is looking for his first win today as well. Elliott Deli takes the lead here in Indianapolis on the penultimate lap. Enoch-U comes out of the pits. He's lapped traffic right now. He's a lap down. I do believe, yeah, you can see flashing at the back. That's how you know. And Davi's gone ahead. Circulera's up into second. He could win this. If he can just get a good line through his next few laps, this could be Davi's race to lose. And we're on board with Kwon Todoroki. His main job right now for Kwon is just to stay out, but look at the state of his softs. 22% tire wear. Is he gonna make it to the end? Does he have the tires to make it to the end? That's the question on his lips. Of the soft tire runners, I think Carson can make it. I think Linus might make it. It's gonna be close. Same with Elliott. I don't think out of the top 5, I don't think any of the guys on the softs are surefire making it to the end of this race. 15% for the championship leader. This could have massive implications as rounding the final turn to start the final lap. He started this race at the back of the pack. Davi Circulera of Brazil leads here in Indianapolis. He's about a second ahead of Elliott Deli. Kwon Todoroki, he's lost so much time. Not the race the championship leader would want to have, as here comes Linus Eriksson. Milsos Micah coming to the back of these guys. And Kwon's dropped to 4th. He's at 5%. Off into the wall. Elliott Deli. Front wing damage. Out of the race has gone Linus Eriksson. Spin for Kwon Todoroki. Full course yellows out. And for Kwon Todoroki, 2% tire wear. 1%. He's not making it to the end. The guys in second and third, both with front wing damage. And he's hit 0! Kwon Todoroki's got a puncture! I don't believe it! On the final lap, it's just as it was in Lagos! Full course yellow's ending! And is it going to be similar for Elliott Deli's on 6%, 5%? Milsos goes by, Francis goes by. The hard tires were the right choice. I don't know how that's happened. It must have been just damage from the front wing. And off! That's Niven Colby. Lewis Olsen getting a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. And Elliott Deli, he's got a puncture too. Carson Thornburg, he's going to be the only one to make it to the end. Niven Colby with a 5-second time penalty. Kwon Todoroki's race here in Indianapolis has unraveled, while Davi Carrera wins his first ERL race here in Indianapolis. Milsos Micah, spin for Elliott Deli, who's got a puncture. Milsos facing the wrong direction with a penalty. Out of the race has gone Elliott, and this race in Indianapolis has gone up in smoke. Somehow, Carlos Sainz will walk away with a second position. Carson Thornburg will be third, ahead of Francis Austin, of course, when penalties are applied. And you can see Kwon Todoroki, he will make it to the start-finish line. He might pit, however, and it will only be 15th for him. I don't believe it. In the slightest. He started 9th. It was going to be a feel-good finish, and unfortunately for the 33, it's gone up in a plume of smoke as he comes into the pits. Not too sure why drivers come into the pits once they've got a puncture. I think that's alongside the start-finish line, so we might as well just bring him into the garage. Yeah, you can see that's the start-finish. This is the podium then. Newman Haas with a race win under their belts now. And it's Davi Sequeira who gives them that first race win. Carlos Sainz of Spain driving for Apex Pinnacle, just about snagging second place on that final lap with Carson Thornburg alongside. Then it's Miki Ongurovic, she's ahead of Max Portcar and Francis Austin. Then it's David Camno, Safsan, Oakley, and Sebastian Messian, your point scorers. Your non-scorers were Tommy Milsos-Mika, Lewis Olsen, Niven Colby, Kwon Todoroki, and Anokyu, who was a lap down. Your non-finishers were Elliot Deli, Linus Eriksson, Hexel Mark, Hugh Puff, Ghosted, and Lowell Buns. In the driver standings, Miki Ongurovic now leads ahead of Carson Thornburg and Kwon Todoroki. Then it's Niven Colby, Elliot Deli, Lil Buns, Linus Eriksson, Davi Sequeira in 8th from Carlos Sainz and Lewis Olsen. Then it's Puff, Oakley, Milsos-Mika, Safsan, Ghosted, Francis Austin, Anokyu, Max Portcar, David Camino, Hector Mark, Tommy, and Sebastian Messian, with every driver scoring points. This is what the constructors' standings look like. Chip Ganassi leads on 111 points ahead of Dragon Penske and Newman Haas. Then it's Sims Motorsport, Andretti Green Racing, Hyperdrive Racing type with McLaren, and both of them just 1 point ahead of the Philippine and Apex Pinnacle team. Then it's Prema Power Team, Power Motorsport, and Revolution Racing. So we'll see you guys next time then when the ERL returns for the Victoria E Prix in the ERL Formula E Series.